guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now today I want to cover two pieces that I didn't get the chance to talk about last year. Of course, I was busy. The end of the year is the craziness of it. So I didn't get a chance to talk about some of the collectibles that were released during that time. And today I want to cover that. So I want to talk about Iron Studios. There is a new diorama that looks amazing for Jaws fans. And also there is the new statue, the new piece by XM Studios for the Ghost Rider. So I want to cover those two today. For that reason, first we are here at Iron Studios so we can look at the Jaws Attack Demi Art Scale 120. The price for this one is crazy, $2,999.99, $3,000 plus shipping costs. I'm telling you, it is crazy, and we're gonna go in depth in a moment about the price, which I think it's unreasonable. And normally I don't like to say this type of things, but I think in this situation, I think they're going too crazy about it. There's not even an edition size. This is going to release sometime between October and December of this year. So let's look at the pictures. I'm telling you, the art is nice. I really like the art. I'm not denying it. I love dioramas. I love anything that is on a really small scale. And of course, this is not a 110. If it was a 110, I imagine that they would try to price it at what, $6,000 or something crazy like that. I like it. I think the concept is nice. The base is nice. The shark and all of that. So to me, this is a no-brainer. It's a beautiful piece for sure. However, I don't think the price is warranted. I don't think the price that they're asking for this is reasonable. I think they're just, biting too much on this. I know some people are going to buy it because some people have all the money in the world to buy stuff like this. But for the most part, the average collector is not going to go with this. And we're seeing a drop in a lot of collectibles right now of edition sizes. Edition sizes are coming really small, where there's only 250 pieces, 300 pieces. And there's a reflection of the market. It's saturated with pieces, and collectors are just simply kind of skipping some things in order to buy other things. So they need to tread carefully here, because if they go too crazy with this with pricing, and this is already crazy as it is, they are going to lose some customers for sure. Iron Studios hasn't really canceled a lot of stuff, but it's getting to that point where I feel that we're going to see some cancellations of some of these pre-orders because the price is just crazy. Now, this is not the first time we have seen a diorama like this. The first diorama that we saw that was similar to this was done by McFarlane Toys back in the early 2000s. It was made out of plastic, but the detail of that piece was spot on. To be honest with you, I'd rather pay the $300 that people are asking for it on eBay for that piece that is almost the same scale. The base is not as detailed as this one, but to be honest with you, it's just the same thing. It just has the same level of detail. Of course, less detail because of course it's plastic, but it was done fantastically by McFarlane Toys. That was one that was done earlier. Now, there is another piece that I want to really show you that I do consider phenomenal. And this is the Sideshow Collectibles Jaws Maquette and custom-made diorama. We'll have the link for those who would like to see this. This was a diorama, a maquette, a custom piece that was produced with the Jaws Maquette that was produced by Sideshow Collectibles. What is amazing about this piece is the scale. Someone just grabbed that maquette, which if you haven't seen it, I will have pictures for you. And with that maquette, what they did is produce this beauty of thing. They got this ship, this model, the scale. They did the resin of the water. Look at how huge this is. This is a custom piece. This is not something that you will find anywhere else. Someone just built this from the ground up. Just with that maquette, transform into this beautiful thing. To me, this is worth $3,000. This is what I consider $3,000 worthy of any collection. Why? Because it's unique. There's not only one in the world. That's it. The person built it with the model of a ship, and it looks amazing. The level of detail here, it's amazing. So to me, this is worth the price tag. I will pay $3,000 for this if somebody just says, hey, you want this? I say, yeah, because it's one in the world. Now, when you're trying to mass produce something and sell it at $3,000 when it's not even as big, the price is $3,000 when you can go and look at the Kong versus Godzilla by Prime One Studio. There's what, $5,000-$6,000, something like that. It will probably come out at $7,000 with the shipping cost. I can see the price, even though I think it's also too high. I can understand the price because of the sheer size of that piece. But this, man, I don't know. And I'm a defender of smaller scale stuff. I'm a defender of the little detail on this type of things and all that. Look at this here. Look at the detail here. This is what $3,000 should be, in my opinion. The scale, the ship, all the detail is there. This is an amazing custom. And every time I've seen it over the years, I'm always blown away by the level of detail. And I don't even know where this is located, but I'm telling you, whoever did the job did an amazing job. If the person that did this is watching this, I'm telling you, sir, you did an amazing job on this one. This to me is even worth more than $3,000. And this is the point that I have here with this, is that yes, it is beautiful. I love the detail on this small scale here, on the 1/20th scale, and it does have a lot of detail. You can see Quint right there being eaten, and the other guy, I forgot the name. And the detail is here. I'm not saying that it's not. I think it's a beautiful diorama. I love the detail on a 1/20th scale. It's going to be made out of resin and all of that. However, I still feel that what they're asking here is extremely, extremely crazy. They are, you know, they're really going too high on this, extremely high. And it's going to bite them in the butt for sure. And that is really a bummer, and that's disappointing, because I do believe that this piece deserves more collectors to have it. You know, it deserves a higher ES edition size. Even though there's no edition size, they don't tell us how many they're going to produce. It's beautiful as it is, you know, and I try to be fair here in the channel. As you know, every time I talk about these things, I always present the pros and the cons. I always talk about the good and the bad. I try to always be positive about things, but it's hard to be positive about something that is just, it's too expensive for what it is. And I know there was a lot of hate on this, and it's sad because I wish people would praise this more, but once you see the price tag, people just turn away and they say, well, this is not close to what I was expecting, or this is not as good as it seems, and all of that, which is disappointing, because in many ways it's a disservice to the artists that were involved in the production of this piece. But look at this. It does have some height, of course. It has some width, so it has some dimensions. It's not bad. Still, you know, I feel that they're asking too much for this, and that's just sad. Alright guys, so now we're moving on to XM Studios to look at the new Ghost Rider Horseback edition. The retail price in Singapore dollars is $2,199, only available in Southeast Asia and also in the Middle East. Now, the artist involved in the production of this piece, Ricardo Federici, is the designer, Thiago Rios is the sculptor, and the XM Studios design and development team is involved in the whole process. Alright guys, now we're looking at the pictures, and before we get into the critical parts and we start kind of dissecting the information that we see here, all the stuff that we see, let's keep in mind that the edition size that we're looking at this, or the max that XM wants to achieve, is 999 pieces. That's the what they want to achieve. Now we're looking at that at just recently. I saw the email where I saw the information they posted on media, where a lot of the edition sizes are coming for a lot of the pieces that they had last year, stuff that went out, amazing stuff that went out last year. A lot of that stuff is only 250. 300, 250, the edition size, which is in some ways, I understand it's very limited and some collectors really benefit from that. But at the same time, it's some way alarming, because it really showcases that people are not buying as much as they were buying before. Of course, you know, we need to keep in mind that the market is saturated with so many pieces out there. So people are very choosy. They're picky about what they're going to buy. And, you know, it's understandable, particularly in this market. Now, let's talk about this piece. And I'm telling you, I love the dimensions here. This is based, if you're really a fan of the Ghost Rider, for those who would like to know where's the inspiration of this is based on Trail of Tears, the Ghost Rider Trail of Tears, which is the prequel to Road of Damnation. Road to Damnation was the story that actually inspired the first XM Studios Ghost Rider piece. The art of Clayton Crane. The story was written by Garth Ennis. And also, which is interesting, that was the inspiration. The whole Road to Damnation was the inspiration also for the Gentle Giant that was on years earlier, and then I reviewed on this channel. So that was the inspiration of those pieces. I love the small Gentle Giant 1/6, and also for many, the XM Studios, the first Ghost Rider on the motorcycle is a Grail. So, you know, this is the continuation of that as a prequel. And I think they did a fantastic job representing the art, and it looks really good. It's huge, and I know a lot of people are looking and expecting this one. Now, one thing I would say, I don't know if it would have been better to have a different type of flames, more like a clear resin on it. They're using the same resin they used for the original Ghost Rider, the original piece that they produced, which I understand is very similar when you look at them. They're very similar even on the paint job. I think the base is better in some ways. It kind of really plays well with the theme here. The more, the old kind of the Wild West type of theme that they're kind of following here based on the comic book. And there's a switch out torso that we're going to look in a moment. But overall, when you go around it, it's just the detail, the level of detail that did here is really, really good. I will tell you, I've never been such a big fan of Ghost Rider. I like the character. Here's the new torso with the cowboy hat. Looks good, really good. But to be honest, I respect when companies produce the type of characters, and Ghost Rider for some reason sells really well. But I love it when the companies concentrate on this second tier characters, because I would never consider Ghost Rider a first tier character, more like a second tier. Not even, it's not a third tier, it's a second tier character that has been made more popular because of the movies and stuff like that. So I'm glad that XM is doing it, because as we saw with 12 Days of Sideshow keeps concentrating on repeating the same characters over and over, which is really sad and disappointing when you go and, you know, watch the 12 Days of Sideshow and everything is just art prints or repeats of characters that we have seen over and over. I think that XM and many other companies are exciting, and they're the ones that are keeping the excitement alive. And this piece is definitely a representation of that. It's definitely an example of it. And there's a lot of detail in the base that I just noticed, those crosses there. It's good. I think the detail here, look at this one, really cool. I will tell you that I love what XM does. I don't think they're at the same level of Prime 1 Studio on the level of detail. I think Prime 1 Studio does a much better job with the detail when you really examine the pieces up close. I think XM is really good and the quality is there. It's just not, the paint job is not as the same level of Prime 1 Studio. Some people may disagree, of course. You know, at the end of the day, you are the person that is looking at the stuff. It's not in front of me, so I'm not looking at it. I'm not really an XM collector. I criticize XM stuff. I review XM stuff because I've been involved in reviewing for many years now. Of course, I did that. I've been doing this in my channel, but also through Statue Forum, which I did years ago. So, you know, I've been involved with these companies. I know these people, but I'm not an XM collector. So I know the collectors are having this in their collections. They understand the pieces better. And they're not always perfect. But for the most part, as you can see here, both together, for the most part, XM delivers quality products. Look at this. Look at this. Really cool. I think they look great. To be honest, this with the horse is more impressive in some ways because of how high it is. Again, because of that base, it's more adorned, and I think because of it, it feels more impressive than the original. Although the original is really, really good for sure. Look at that. I think they're fantastic pieces. I'm telling you, like I mentioned before, at the end of the day, you know, this is a collectible market. I have said this many, many times before. And as a collectible market, things, they're never going to be cheap. You know, that's the just bottom line. And I know sometimes people would like to come to this market and think of this as action figures in some way. You know, sometimes it depends on your mindset. When you come into this market from a background of buying cheap goods, you know, or collecting cheap goods, you think that this should be cheap. But at the end of the day, you are collecting high-end collectibles. And for the most part, those are made by hand. You know, they are produced by people who are painting it. You know, there is not mass-produced in a factory where you have machines doing it. You have people doing them, assembling things together. So this is the work of artisans. So I totally understand sometimes why things can be pricey the way they are. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying that it's all right, because even the price for this Ghost Rider is really high in comparison to the pieces that were produced before, and people are complaining about it too. People are going to complain no matter what. Everyone wants cheap goods. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned before, at the end of the day, this is a market that only the strong survive. If you're the type of person that, and when I mean strong, not only strong financially, but the people that have the willingness to wait, to be patient, and to be picky about what they're choosing. So you have to be careful. Don't buy everything, because you're gonna be at some point you're gonna get jaded with it. You're gonna be tired of it. You're gonna be definitely hurting financially because of it. So you have to be very careful what you're choosing. Pick everything with a lot of thought. You know, everything you're buying and adding to your collection, think on the long run. Think on the long term. Think on the investment. Is it an investment for your collection, or is it hurting your collection? Are you adding any value to your collection, or are you just hurting your collection? So those are the things that you have to ask yourself as a collector. And when you do those things, you will survive. You know, you will be in this hobby on the long run, through ups and downs, through increase of pricing, through the craziness of things, through bad QC, all of that. You will survive because you're playing the long game. You're playing for the future, not just for now. So that's the way you have to see it. That's the way I have approached this for many years. Doesn't mean that I always have done it perfectly, but I think that's the way that you have enjoyment with this. You know, that's the way it is. So my friends, what is your opinion about this? What do you think about the pieces that we covered today? Are you excited for them? Do you agree with me? You disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are down below. And please consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless you. Take care. I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.